This has to change. There's no human should ever have to go through that again.
Brad Newton's 21-month-old granddaughter Natalie recently passed away. She suffered a severe brain injury that required intensive, risky surgery. The procedure resulted in total organ failures, impending kidney disease, and left her a quadriplegic. Newton says the chances of her surviving a year were less than 4%.
So you have to start thinking, do we want her to live like this? And of course the answer is no.
As is the process in any hospital, the family went before an ethics committee to get their opinion.
On Natty's case, it was voted unanimously that the end of life was the humane thing to do.
But here's where the story gets horrifying for Newton's family, because the only way the process can be done in Texas is to remove the life support, essentially remove the feeding tube. The family was told to bring Natalie home and prepare for the process.
So you realize, okay, and that's starving her to death. And they're like, yeah, it is. I'm like, well, why can't we inject like some morphine or something peaceful and quick?
In Texas, as with most states, euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide is illegal. But after what Newton and his family had to endure, he wishes it wasn't.
First day, she's just a little disoriented, she's hungry, and but she's got her morphines and stuff to keep her comfortable. And second day, she's just scared. She knows something's going on. She don't know what. Day 5 is horrible. She's no longer with us. She's delusional now. And she's just a shell of a baby.
It took Natalie 9 days to pass away. 9 days the family had to watch. Now, Newton wants to get petitions signed, go to Austin, and change the laws to allow euthanasia for humans.
It should be right to choose to let them go quickly and peacefully.
In Austin, doctors with the Texas Medical Association say even talking about the subject of hastening a terminally ill patient's death is tricky. And when it comes to getting legislation passed, at least for now, you can pretty much forget about it. Dr. Sarah Austin is a neurologist who deals with situations like this all the time. But she says most doctors would agree that euthanasia is a dangerous road.
I think my worry with that would be, and I would never support that, is because it's such a slippery slope. If you have somebody with ALS, and they get weaker and weaker, when do you decide that this is the right time to hasten their death? I mean, that's what you're doing with euthanasia, is you're hastening death. And I think you do better to allow that process to go on naturally and make people comfortable in the process.
Dr. Austin is also a member of the Council on Legislation for the Texas Medical Association, a group of medical professionals that weigh in on medical legislation for state lawmakers. But when it comes to getting the law changed,
I think it would be impossible, honestly.
And while states like Oregon, Vermont, and Washington allow physician-assisted suicide, Dr. Austin says, in her experience, most people are automatically against the idea.
You say end of life, people are worried about death panels, and you bring up that's all they have to say, and no matter if they know what's going on, what the real legislation is or anything, that's it. They're against it.
In the end, it's a conversation Dr. Austin says needs to be had, and while she's against it, she's glad the subject is being brought up. For Newton, it may be an uphill fight, but he'll fight it nonetheless. Andrew Ellison, Chris 6 News.